Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags, and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's July 11th, 2018. And I am Eric, of course. Still not getting sleep. Still fall asleep for about 2-3 hours, wake up, and can't go back to fucking sleep. The nightmares, the dreams, the thoughts. Really, really terrible. So I stumbled across this article. Actually, there's a couple of them. And it's about racism, of course. This is going to be an unescapable topic. An unescapable reality. Now, as most of you know, I recently went to the county jail. I was there 7-8 days. And one thing I noticed while I was there is the lack of division. I mean, sure, a lot of black folks segregated into groups, but there was no hostility. Everyone was decent to each other. Then you get out here, and one would get the impression that there's white supremacists lurking around every corner. You get out here, one would think that people of color do not have any opportunities. One would think that police, law enforcement in general, unfairly targets people of color. Get out here, one would get the impression that a race war is liable to break out at any time. And why is that? Why is it so different in county jail as opposed to out here? I'm not really sure why. I have a idea, but it's just an idea. Because you know what? I just got a phone call from a mixed fellow. My first cellmate in the behavioral management unit. And he's a Muslim. And the guy has nothing but respect. He's polite. Fucking calls me sir, which drives me crazy. And he's a really easygoing, laid-back kind of fellow. Which is confusing in some ways. Remember, these people are painted in the media, not just the media, mainstream media, but in most media as being the bad guys. Now, I'm not saying that I'm converting to Islam or anything like that, but one thing I learned in my trip to the county jail is you shouldn't judge anyone until you actually get to have a decent conversation with them. Because looks are very deceiving. You know, look at me, for example. I'm 5'6", so weigh around 120 pounds. If you look at me on this video, you might get the impression that I'm weak. But I'm not. So, I learned not to prejudge others in this trip to the county jail. Sure enough, there's scumbags in county jail. Sure enough, there's people who probably are going to get what they deserve. But that's really a small fraction of the overall prison or jail population. So what happens when so-called equality is achieved? And when I say equality, I don't mean equality of opportunity, because this is already a reality. Everyone can apply for the same jobs. If you have the qualifications, you can be whatever, right? But what they're looking for in this quest for equality is equality of outcome. Now, we all know about affirmative action and other race-based hiring policies, which dictates that if I have the experience, if I have the degree or qualifications for one job or another, and of course I'm white, and others people of color, who lack all the proper training, all the work experience, all that stuff, they get preferential treatment against me because they are victims. At least that's the way it's supposed to go. Of course, we all know that most people of color are not victims. Most people who are victims are really victims of themselves. They do stupid things. If you don't want to get caught with a bag of weed or whatever substance you happen to have on you at any given time, probably should make more sound decisions as to your overall conduct. This is one of the complaints people of color have, is, you know, they get busted with these drugs way more than white people, never ever considering that their personal conduct had anything to do with it. No, it was the racist white cop that brought about their incarceration and perhaps demise. But what happens when equality is achieved? Well, a lot. Here I am at theguardian.com in the culture section. Now, once equality is achieved, and I'm not talking about equality of outcome, I'm talking about equality of opportunity. It's not enough. It's not enough. There is no pleasing these people who think that they're victims. You could give them $1,000 a month for the rest of their lives, and it still wouldn't be enough. You can give them $5,000 a month for the rest of their lives, and it still wouldn't be enough. The thing is these people, they want you dead if you're a heterosexual white male. They do. It's not enough that that suicide rate among white males has skyrocketed, and the overall mortality rate along with it for heterosexual white males. And they'll always find something, anything, to complain about, to use as examples of nearly non-existent racism. So why are memes of black people reacting so popular online? This comes from Ellen E. Jones, undoubtedly a libtard. She says here in the subtitle, the trend for digital blackface from the Fleetwood Mac marching band to unimpressed Viola Davis is more problematic than you think. They say, amid the fanfare surrounding the release of Beyonce and Jay-Z's surprise joint album and their video for Ape Shit, one group were paying particularly close attention. The professional GIF creators employed by companies such as GIPHY, Tanner, and Imgur, because as Beyonce's Beshila performance proved, you can never have too many gifs of a sassy, confident Beyonce, right? Wrong. Online popularity of images of black people, particularly women and feminine or femi-gay men, is a fact of internet life, and in recent months an increasingly controversial one. Racist caricatures and impersonation are widely accepted tools of white supremacy. But, by the way, everything is white supremacy, okay? If you enjoy the outdoors and you enjoy hunting or anything like that, that activity is now a problematic white supremacist activity. But it's when monstrously 19th century traditional tools of boot polish and a wig are replaced with 21st century equivalents that the confusion begins. Are gifts being used to disseminate racist stereotypes in cyberspace? Was the black marching band dances to Fleetwood Mac meme an example of digital blackface, as suggested in a recent high-traffic Twitter thread. Is there something problematic about white people using brown-skin emojis? According to these people, anything white males in particular do is problematic. If you are a white male, you are under sustained cultural and, in many cases, physical attack. And what about the Black Lives Matter Facebook fundraising page that was revealed to be run by two unaffiliated white men in Australia? Was this the latest iteration of digital blackface in action? No, it was two dudes getting over on the retards who want to donate to Black Lives Matter. Nothing to do with, blackface. It was about money. Well, there's a cause out there people will mindlessly throw money at. Let's start a page and get paid from that. Wish I would have thought of it. And, of course, they say, or is it just a run-of-the-mill money-making scam? And, of course, it is. I mean, what's racist about this picture? I can't tell you. And they go on to say that black women have been calling out certain online behaviors as digital age blackface for some time now. Some shit I can't pronounce. Hudson, a Philadelphia-based writer and academic. Is that what they call these people? Academics? There's nothing academic but about the things they're promoting and trying to incite. Supposedly, she first noticed this phenomenon back in the middle 2000s in a comment thread on an article about police brutality. And of course, I cover police brutality at nauseum. I talk about it all the time. And I don't care what color the person is who's been brutalized. If you're black, I'm going to mention it. If you're white, I'm going to talk about it. To me, if they can do those things to black people or Mexicans or anyone else, that means they can do them to me as well, and have. So her attention was caught by some anonymous user claiming to be a black woman in New York City, posting some extremely anti-black sentiments and fighting with some of the other posters for days. Eventually, this anonymous user accidentally posted from his actual account, alerting the rest of the thread to his real identity. A white guy in flyover country. When Twitter arrived on the scene, accounts impersonating black women also quickly adapted to the new platform. I joined in 2009 and saw them all the time, she says. They were racist and gross, but they weren't harmful beyond being obnoxious. They didn't fool anyone who wasn't really awash in their own misogynoir. Point is here, these social justice warrior types, no matter what you do, no matter, it's not good enough. It never will be good enough. When you cave to the pressures of these so-called social justice warriors, they're not warriors because they're too busy fucking whining. It's never enough. Apologizing, acquiescing, all of it. Never enough. And I'm not talking about, your average hardworking person. I'm talking about the kind of people who want to get shit started. And they are. They are getting shit started. And it's never going to end unless all white males are killed. That's the objective of people like this. It is the objective. Again, I'm not talking about your ordinary, hardworking individual of color. I'm talking about, and I for the life of me, I cannot tell if it's a majority of people of color, or is it just a small percentage? It's hard to say. But a small group of people can do untold damage if they keep at it long enough. And this is one of the reasons why the suicide rate for white males has went up so high. Not all of the reason, but some of it. See, our economic opportunities are being snuffed out in favor of hiring people who have no qualifications whatsoever just because they happen to be black or Mexican or a refugee from a war-torn country. Does not matter if you are highly qualified for the job. What matters is, are you a heterosexual white male? Now, I don't wish ill to any racial group, except for maybe one, and that's because it's very, very clear their philosophy. But when they clearly announce themselves as enemies through their writings and their beliefs, then it's fair game, right? But I get a lot of mixed sentiment from others, like black folks. If you look on the internet, you would swear that black people as a whole want, in particular, white males to be dead. We are the cause of every problem under the sun. So, we shouldn't be apologizing. We shouldn't be acquiescing. We shouldn't be caving into these pressures. We sure the fuck shouldn't be killing ourselves over it. But these people, they will get a bunch of shit started. And of course, when the white male finally had enough, and we defend ourselves, and I mean really defend ourselves, that will be racist. No matter what you do, it's going to be racist. Breathe in, breathe out, racist. Take a shit, racist. Enjoy barbecue ribs, racist. Everything is racist. I've really had enough of this shit. I've been reading this for years now. And if they're going to do something, then fucking do it and quit whining. Until then, until you actually do something and stop whining, that's all you are, is a bunch of fucking crybabies. A bunch of crybabies who don't want to take responsibility for your own lives. Instead, you want to blame everything on the white guy. I say, if you want a war, bring it on. Bring it on. And if you're not willing to bring it on, you are a bunch of weak, pathetic, spineless motherfuckers. These articles about white people, the unbearable whiteness of being, these statements that white DNA is an abomination, they're nothing without your physical action. Nothing but you whining about somebody else. Quit your fucking whining and do something. Please. Because I think this nation needs a purge of fucking libtards in particular. I'm very, very troubled by all this racist shit that I see being tossed our way. I really am. I have black subscribers. They interact with me. They're not the kind of people I'm talking about. They fucking go to work, bust their asses, and coexist. But how many of them, people of color, are actually like that? How many people of color really want us dead? And what will happen when they do decide, and I say when, not if, when they do decide to take physical action? Are the black folks and people of color going to automatically take the side of these social justice crybabies because of their color? I really hope not, but it seems to me that a lot of people base their loyalty on race. That's the basis of their loyalty. And I really hate to see good black folks and other people of color fall into this because they're loyal only to their race. But I fear that's what's going to happen. I fear that when the Civil War breaks out, and it will, I fear that the good black folks are going to fall in the line along racial lines. And I don't want that to happen. Because there's a lot of good black people out there. A lot of good Mexicans. A lot of good Muslims. And we're all being pushed towards this event. When we all have the same problem. The ruling class. Do you think the ruling class is going to go away if you kill Whitey? Do you think a whole lot's going to be different in a positive way for you? You have to remember something. When you wish for the death of an entire demographic, one that happens to be the perfect mixture of brain, brawn, and brawn, you're going to end up with a civilization of desperation. After all, it is mostly the white people, the Asians, who do the skilled trades, who do the farming, who invent new medicines, and so on and so forth. Who's going to do that if we're all dead? And don't hand me this shit that you can do it yourself, because if that were the case, there would be more of that coming out of the person of color communities. There's not. But if you're not thinking with a rational mind and you're thinking only with emotions, then this is what you're going to get. You're going to get people all pissed off, and they're going to go out to the streets, and they're going to target white people. What do you think is going to happen when these attacks become so frequent that white people start defending themselves? Do you think you're going to win a war against us? Really? The liberals, do you think you're going to win a war against us? And by the way, what are you going to do with the white people who defend you, who fight on your side? You going to kill them too? Just saying. Anyway, this one's gone a little bit longer than I would have liked, but it's alright. If you watch, you watch. You don't, you don't. I hope you do. I guess I'm going to end it here. Not everything is white supremacy. Very little, in fact, is white supremacy. You benefit from all the things that white men and women have invented. you benefit from a system that white men and women have invented. Whenever somebody commits a crime in your neighborhood, you call mostly white men and women to come and take care of it. So anyway, hope you all have a good day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.